Do you know the neighborhood in Cambridge, Massachusetts with the longest name? In this video, we're going to find out the name and learn more about the neighborhood. Stay tuned. So there are 13 named neighborhoods in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and the one with the longest name, the one that I live in, is called Wellington-Harrington. That's Wellington-Harrington. And the Wellington-Harrington neighborhood includes Inman Square. So Wellington-Harrington, the neighborhood, is bounded by Somerville to the north, the Boston and Albany Railroad to the east, and Hampshire Street to the south. And it's a small, high-density neighborhood with some 7,000 residents. And it's known mainly as a neighborhood for Inman Square, which is located where Cambridge Street and Hampshire Street cross at the edge of the Wellington-Harrington neighborhood, bordering on Mid-Cambridge and bordering on Somerville. And Inman Square is in transition in COVID times. First, the park at the intersection of Cambridge and Hampshire has been under construction. It essentially was taken out and is a landing station for construction right now as they rethink the intersection to make it, in theory, a safer intersection. It's a classic New England cow pasture intersection where the firehouse sits and multiple streets converge, and it's been hard for people to safely navigate. There's been some terrible accidents here over the years, with some fatalities even. And so they're trying to sort out some sort of intersection to make it safer. And I just don't know what it's going to end up being when it's completed, but we'll hope it's better. Just don't know. There's been neighborhood voices voicing concerns. We'll see what happens. But Inman Square, there's a lot happening. The S&S Deli is found here. In my series on Cambridge, I've done some videos on a couple of the wonderful places and people found here, including Gather Here, a Stitch Lounge, and Albertine Press. You can learn more about these wonderful Inman Square institutions at cambridgespotlight.com. And as a resident, I'm in Inman Square every day. I like to walk in to pick up ice cream at Christina's. There's some great restaurants here, the Druid, Highland Fried, others. So Inman Square is a lively place. It's the one square in Cambridge not served by a subway station directly, although you can walk easily enough to the Red Line in Central Square in short order, so it's not that far off the path of a subway station. But because it is the one square in Cambridge off the Red Line, it ends up having more of a local neighborhood vibe and feel, and that's one of the things that makes Inman Square so appealing. So it's a great piece to the Wellington-Harrington neighborhood puzzle, and I'm grateful to live just outside of Inman Square. Up Cambridge Street, which essentially serves as the main drag for the neighborhood, you eventually arrive at the new complex, including the Cambridge Street Upper School and the King Open School. This is the first zero net carbon emission school built in the state of Massachusetts, and the multi-year construction project here completed itself in 2019, and it's a massive 4-acre, 273,000 square foot building site that the city spent over $150 million on. William Rahn Associates, the main architect on this job for this incredible complex that includes the Cambridge Street Upper School, which is the way that Cambridge, Massachusetts describes a middle school in the eyes or minds of most. So that's, grades 6, 7, and 8. And then the King Open School is also found here, and it has a variety of programs for younger kids. There's the new Valenti Branch Library that's part of this building with its glass curtain wall facing Cambridge Street. And, this building is really incredible. It has a 380-seat auditorium. In addition to the new library, it has 2 gymnasiums. It has underground parking. It has offices for city school employees. But, mainly what it has is a lot of open, bright, cheerful spaces for students to learn. So, it really does take your breath away to just go by the building. And it's one I've been watching being built since I live in the neighborhood over the last couple of years, and it was a heavy, intense construction site. It's just a massive building. And then right behind it, and actually part of this project was the community pool, the Gold Star Mother's Pool, which is open to the public. And in fact, this year, the hours and use were extended until end of September. So you've got a community pool right behind this new building. And behind that, you have Donnelly Field and the Frizzoli Youth Center. And so there's a lot of community use of the field. There's baseball games and soccer and people just hanging out and enjoying the green space. So there's just a whole lot happening in this complex that includes the schools and the fields behind it that make for a destination for the neighborhood of Wellington-Harrington. And then Hampshire Street is another main drag for the neighborhood, parallel to Cambridge, closer to the neighborhood of the port. And it ends up Hampshire Street at One Kendall, the complex that includes the Kendall Square Cinema, and as well several restaurants, among them Mamala's Delicatessen, which is a favorite of mine and my daughter. We are regulars there. And in COVID times, we've adopted and ordered takeout to go. So that whole complex, the One Kendall complex, which has numerous offices and restaurants, is another element in the Wellington-Harrington neighborhood. As for real estate, there's a mix of single families, multifamilies, and condominium associations, everything from 2-3 unit associations, and including larger ones. For example, I am the listing agent in the initial sellout for Inman Crossing, which is located at 305 Webster Avenue, just outside of Inman Square off Cambridge Street. And this building, you can check it out online at inmancrossing.com, is a new build 4-story building with underground garage parking and an elevator, and some of the units have private outdoor space, and most all of the units are 1 and 2 bedroom units. There is going to be 1 retail condo in the space. And then among the residential units, there are 31 market rate units on offer. And so the advantage at this address is you step out your door into the Wellington-Harrington neighborhood, and you can easily find your way into the heart of Inman Square, or you can walk into Somerville to Union Square, where there's a whole lot happening as well. So Inman Crossing is a popular new build because of its location in the heart of this Wellington-Harrington neighborhood. I've liked living here over the last 20 plus years, just simply because it makes it easy for me to get pretty much anywhere on my own 2 feet. And I also like that there's amenities. For example, at the end of my block, there's a great little pocket park, well maintained by the city, enjoyed by the local residents, myself included. And there are a number of these pocket parks in the neighborhood. This is something I really appreciate. I love that from my door, I can walk up Hampshire to Formaggio Kendall, an outpost of Formaggio Kitchen with its main Cambridge store found in Huron Village. But now there's one in my neighborhood, and I can stop in there, and they have a great selection of cheeses and European grocery goods, and it's a really nice store. They also carry Forge ice cream, which is a treat. And so I love that that's there. There's so many great restaurants nearby. At the end of my block, there's a Clover Food Lab, which does a great drip coffee. So there's a lot of things nearby living in the neighborhood that I can easily reach on foot. And I love that about the neighborhood. I mean, I can walk to the Kendall Square Cinema and see a great new release art house film. And if I wish to leave the neighborhood, I'm not that far to Boston. I can walk from my home in Wellington-Harrington to Boston in short order. I've even walked to a Red Sox game at Fenway back in the day. So there's so much at your doorstep, literally, if you live in this neighborhood. And it's one of the things that has made living here very appealing. It is a densely packed neighborhood. You know, the houses are close to each other. That's city living. And it's especially true in Wellington-Harrington. It's just something that you get used to over time if you live here. And it's not an issue for most people who make the neighborhood home. It is city living. You're not in the suburbs. You know that. And it's just part of Wellington-Harrington. I have some additional videos on the channel all about Inman Square, so be sure to check those out. My name is Charles Cherney. I'm a top real estate agent, and I've helped many buyers and sellers discover Wellington-Harrington and Inman Square, as well as the other neighborhoods of Cambridge and neighboring Somerville. So reach out by text, telephone, or email if I can be of service to you in buying the right home or selling for the best price in Cambridge and Somerville. Love the communities, live and breathe them every day, and would be happy to share with you more information about them. To learn more about this neighborhood, Wellington-Harrington and Inman Square, visit discoverinmansquare.com, where I have additional links and resources, as well as information on properties for sale in the neighborhood. My name is Charles Cherney. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you check out Wellington-Harrington and Inman Square.